Are you in the polymer, rubber, or even plastics manufacturing realm? Are you looking for a sales rep, key account manager, manufacturing, regional sales manager, territory sales manager, and you're struggling to find someone within the polymers industry that really understands from a technical aptitude, different channels of distribution, how to grow your territory, how to bring on new accounts, or how to manage your current key account? Someone just left your team. If you're looking to expand or you're making your first hire in the United States or your thousandth hire in the United States, I think this video of how to find your next best hire could certainly help. My name is Mike Cioffi. I'm the founder of Talent Traction. I've helped companies uh, place hundreds of candidates over the past decade, and I've spent my entire career in the polymers rubber industry. And today I'm going to go through step by step, if I were you, how I would recruit this role internally. So there's five key phases to recruiting, and I think the most critical and overlooked one is called target setting. Really, at the end of the day, what are we looking for in this polymer key account or regional sales manager? And we want to define it with clarity because this is a foundational phase that's the bottom of the pyramid in terms of or building a house, right? If we don't have the correct structure underneath and foundation, we really can't move forward um, in the process. So we want to build a mission driven scorecard. We want to make sure we have internal KPI alignment in finding this person. So if you're the only decision maker on your team, it makes it a bit easier. But typically, there's a few different stakeholders. There's HR, the VP of sales, perhaps someone in C-suite, a director of sales making their first hire, or a regional sales manager maybe hiring a territory sales manager to help them making their first hire. Right. So we need to define with clarity what this person's actually going to do every day. So I think the easiest way to think about this from a KPI standpoint are, what are 3 to 5 KPIs that if we met 365 days from now, that you would say, Mike, the Joe or Mary uh, has completed their first year and they're doing great because they were able to achieve success on their core KPI. So I've developed some that I want to share with you, and you could take this and edit it as you please. So these are pretty basic, right, for any sales role. So number one, it's got to be measurable and attainable, right? So a lot of times when I onboard roles, sales managers are saying, for a 50K base role or 80K base role, this person could make 500K. Well, what's reasonable that most people will be able to hit from a KPI standpoint? So reasonable KPIs, they're going to lead to a lot better, not just attraction, but retention. Because if we set unattainable goals, your new employees are really just going to get burned out. So the first one that we put down was revenue growth targets from key accounts. So achieving 10 to 15% year over year growth. So it's pretty straightforward, right? So if you're giving that, if let's say we're hiring someone with an existing book of business, you're only asking them to achieve the low double digit growth, not double or triple it. Now, it may be reasonable to expect doubling or tripling, but in this case, it's an established territory, so it's unreasonable to ask for this. So new business development within the existing accounts. So secure at least 3 new product introductions or cross sell projects within 10 key accounts during the first year. So if you have a new product line and you want to increase the mix, let's put that out as a KPI that the individual actually has to hit so they know the reason why they're getting up every single day. Customer retention and satisfaction. So maintain 95% plus customer retention rate. Simply don't lose more than, if you have 100 clients, you're not allowed to lose more than 5%. Then we'll switch to technical and market intel contributions. So deliver quarterly account intelligent reports identifying competitor activity. So As for a person to be successful in this role, they should not only be selling, but they're the boots on the ground, the eyes and the ears. They should be relaying back to HQ and leadership what is going on in the space, so that we can stay ahead of the curve. And the last one, last but not least, is we want to make sure that we have profitability and we're always looking in ways improving our margin. So we're looking for a 2 to 3% per account pricing optimization. So you could see here, these are just five that I created, and it's just supposed to be a basis for you to think about, or edit or create your own when creating your job description. I would say more than 75% of the time in 2025, if I had to look back, with hiring managers that I was working with, they were not able to easily come up with me asking off the cuff, what are 3 to 5 KPIs for this role that this person has to hit? And it's really important from a target setting standpoint, going back to the defining with clarity before we even make a job description. If we're handing it to HR, you're making it yourself. Let's really come up with those KPIs. Okay, I think we all got that point, and how to create them, right? Um, the next piece is making sure that we have a job description. You could do this through, if you don't know how to do it, through ChatGPT by copying and pasting your company's info. You could do it for free on our website, hire.talenttraction.org, and create an attractive job description. That's actually going to sell the opportunity. It's not 50 bullet points of obscure requirements. The phase two is road mapping. So, what we want to do here is understand what are the ways that we're actually going to recruit this position. So, we have two different types of candidates: active and passive. Active candidates are those that are applying to your LinkedIn ad. They are writing you emails. They're messaging you on LinkedIn. They're actively applying to roles. That's one whole bucket of candidates. There could be plenty of qualified candidates. Typically speaking, in niche industries like the polymer and rubber and plastics industries, the A players could certainly be actively applying to roles, but there's a whole bucket of other candidates called passive candidates. They're passively looking, they're never actively clicking on a job ad. So, how do we attract where a lot of the A players live in the passive bucket? There's two simple methodologies I'll mention on this video. One is your actual network, your own network of employees, of customers, of vendors, of partners, know a lot of players within your industry. So making it well known, if it's not a non-confidential role, that you have this role open, that you're looking for this certain type of individual, even incentivizing your current employee base that you're currently hiring for this role. No one knows your employees and your culture better than your current team. And then, of course, the second is having an outbound methodology. So, being able to source candidates or prospective candidates uh, from your competition, from the industry, etc., and doing an outreach campaign that can target them. Those are the two ways that we would track those passive candidates. So, active and passive, you want to make sure that if it's a difficult role, that you are going after both. If you have a very, what we would call, like, easy role to recruit for, that's high volume. Let's say I'm hiring for a junior social media manager that's fully remote. We don't care where they live. I could post an ad on Indeed and LinkedIn and get 500 resumes, and then my job really becomes vetting out for the A players. I probably have enough of a pipeline. Typically speaking, for a role like this, you're never going to have enough active A players applying to your roles to get to a solid pipeline of candidates to interview. Let's just say that's 3 to 5 vetted, very solid candidates that eventually leads to a hire. So, road mapping is really all about designing how we're going to recruit the role and figuring out and aligning internally on that strategy. The next one is obvious, right? So it's recruiting. So it's where we're actually doing the outreach, we're posting the ads, we're doing the initial screens, either HR is or whoever's within your company, or you're outsourcing that process where you're taking down those 500 Indeed, LinkedIn applicants, maybe getting it to three. You're looking at your outbound strategy of targeting 100 prospective profiles and bringing it down to three. So you have six finalists that you could bring into the next phase, which would be decision making. So now that we have our six best candidates, how are we actually going to do the final interviews, coach leadership, and make sure that we're making a non-biased decision on who we're hiring, and making sure that we're also preserving a uh, class A candidate experience so that the top candidate within the pipeline is actually going to accept our role. And the fifth and final is recruiting is not done once someone signs the offer letter. They still have to show up on day one. So there's sometimes only a 2 week gap. There could be a 3 month gap from the time that they sign the offer letter. And it's your job, the recruiter's job, the hiring manager's job to have certain touch points along the way to make sure that we're keeping that candidate engaged. When they show up on day one, they should have a action plan, an onboarding where they feel welcome, and 30, 60, 90, 180, 365 clearly outlined KPIs that they're going to hit so that you say that they're successful in the first once you revert back 365 days later. So again, just to recap, if you're hiring a rubber, polymer, plastics, key count sales manager, there's five phases to recruiting. I really only spent a lot of time on target setting. In a further video, we'll go much more in depth, but phase one is target setting. And a lot of companies skip over that KPI alignment. So let's make sure that we align. Phase two is road mapping. Phase three is recruiting. Phase four is decision making. And phase five is post hire. So thank you so much for joining this video. If you have any questions on hiring, any position that's more difficult than your average role, my name is Mike Cioffi. I'm the founder of Talent Traction. I'm more than happy to answer any questions or tell you what we see from our desk. You don't have to be a client for me to bring value to you. More than happy to answer a simple email or jump on a quick call. Thank you again.